America in the 50s. A simpler place, a simpler time. You hear that phrase a lot, right?
Yeah, it paints a picture. Sort of Norman Rockwell, everyone happy.
Exactly. Unblemished prosperity, nice communities, life without all our modern hassles.
Mm-hmm.
But here on the deep dive, we always try to look, well, deeper. Because under that wrapping, there's usually so much more. Real struggles, real resilience.
A whole emotional landscape that doesn't fit the neat picture.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So today, we're doing maybe an unexpected deep dive. It's into Danielle Steel's novel, The Gift.
Okay, maybe not what people expect when they hear that name.
Right. If you're thinking just light romance, maybe shift your expectations a bit. Our mission here isn't just the story.
No, we're mining it.
We are. We're extracting those bittersweet verities, as some reviews call them. Those surprising facts, the emotional depths.
Things that give you a richer, maybe tougher portrait of life, loss, love back then.
Yeah, in that supposedly simpler time, we're after the real nuggets here about resilience, those societal pressures, and the power of human connection, things that go way beyond just a simple narrative.
And it's interesting, even early critics picked up on that deeper layer. You had the Philadelphia Inquirer praising its heartfelt empathy, talking about how Steele skillfully communicates some of life's bittersweet verities.
Huh. So they saw it too.
They did, and the Chattanooga Times called it a departure from Miss Steen's usual style. They noted its great deal of depth, themes of moral and truth, even supreme sacrifice, which the Winter Haven news chief pointed out.
So right from the start, there was this sense it wasn't just fluff. It had weight.
Exactly. It set an expectation for something with real emotional heft, proving, there's always more there if you actually dig in.
Okay, so let's start digging. Layer 1, the Whittaker family, 1952. I mean, on the surface, they are that ideal.
The perfect picture.
Totally. Sean, Liz, their son Tommy, and little 5-year-old Annie. Nice house, good part of town. John's got a successful produce business.
Solid.
Liz loves teaching, though she's substitute teaching now, to be home more with Annie. Their values are clear. Family, marriage, honesty, education.
The whole package.
And Annie. She's just this bundle of joy. Liz had her at 41, which was a surprise, 10 years after Tommy, especially after some miscarriages.
Oh, wow. So she was really special.
A wispy little thing with a big grin, the book says. Loved Christmas. Filled the house with laughter. And John had big dreams for them. Tommy studying agriculture, maybe economics. Annie. Maybe a doctor? A lawyer.
Pretty forward-thinking for 52, especially for a daughter.
Right. He'd saved a handsome sum for her education already, and Tommy's college fund was set. It all looks so promising. But what's the deeper layer here? What does this setup really signal?
Well, it's not just plot setup, is it? It's like a symbol. The perfect family as the embodiment of that whole post-war American dream. Prosperity, stability, the ideal home life.
The aspiration.
Exactly. But the story immediately shows you how fragile that was, how life's, bitter verities, as you said, could just tear that idyllic picture apart. It shows you how precarious happiness actually was back then. That perfect surface. Very thin ice.
And the ice breaks, brutally. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Annie gets sick.
Starts small.
Yeah, Tommy notices she feels kind of hot. They think it's just a cold, the flu.
Right.
Liz worries, though, mother's instinct. Thinks about polio, TB.
Diseases that were terrifying back then.
But it's meningitis, and it's incredibly fast. She gets deathly pale, barely breathing, unconscious. Then after just whispering, "Thank you," she's gone.
Oh, devastating.
And the doctor basically says even in the hospital, there was very little they could do. The stats for young kids were awful. It just hammers home that bitter verity, how vulnerable children were before vaccines. It strips away any illusion of control, even in that perfect family.
How does the book show the fallout? Not just the shock, but the long-term damage. It really digs into the isolation of grief in that era. Families were supposed to be this unit, but often there wasn't the language or permission to really talk about trauma openly.
So everyone suffers alone.
Pretty much. It forced people inward. Emotional stoicism was seen as strength, right? So you see, Tommy, he's haunted by her last words, feels like he should have been able to make a difference. He withdraws, starts smoking, drinking, a kind of silent scream.
And Liz.
Her softness and warmth, it says, just harden, turns to stone. She cries out, "I want her back." Just raw despair, but it doesn't reach John.
And John.
He's drowning in guilt, too. Blamed himself equally for telling Liz it was nothing. So he buries himself in work, stays late, they just drift apart.
Separate oceans.
Yeah, the book uses that image.
Wow.
Like two people drowning quietly in separate oceans, distance lost, even dinner becomes arguments over trivial things, not connection.
That image is chilling. Does it stop with them? What about the community? You mentioned their reaction earlier.
Right, and that adds another layer to the bitterness. Friends bring food, the standard gesture.
Hmm.
But then some are afraid to bother them. Others just stay away completely as though tragedy might be contagious.
Wow. Like it could rub off on them.
Exactly. So this stark isolation within their grief, it makes you ask, how did communities really support people through that kind of loss back then when there was this underlying fear almost?
Yeah.
Despite the image of close-knit towns, profound sorrow could still leave you utterly alone.
A very different picture from the simple, supportive community image.
Okay.
So the story then shifts gears, takes us to Anawa, Iowa, to Maribeth Robertson.
A completely different world.
She's 16, bright, ambitious. She's dreaming of a career, an exciting job, education, a husband she actually loves and respects. Things we'd encourage now.
But back then,
Totally different. Her father, Bert Robertson, has very rigid ideas about women.
let me guess. Stay home, have kids.
Pretty much. Didn't need a college education to change a diaper. Girls were supposed to behave, get married, have kids, and not give anyone a lot of trouble.
Ooh, double standard alert.
Big time.
Yeah.
Her brother Ryan can be wild, and it's just amusing. But Maribeth's dreams, crazy ideas, and her mom, Margaret, just quietly goes along with Bert.
That's a tough environment for ambition.
It shows just how deeply embedded those constraints were. And then, one mistake. Prom night.
Uh-oh.
Awkward date, spike punch, an encounter with the senior hero, Paul Brown. He's completely casual about the risk, says something like, I don't think so, not from one time like that.
Famous last words.
Seriously. Because, of course, she gets pregnant. Finds out right when Paul gets engaged to someone else. His reaction, oh shit, you're not.
Charming.
Isn't it? But her father's reaction is the ultimate blow. Calls her a whore. Compares her to aunts who had to get married.
Oh, brutal.
And he banishes her. Sends her off to a Sisters of Charity convent. Says she has to pay for her sins and clean up her own mess. Forbids her from seeing her mother or sister.
Just exiled. It shows the sheer ruthlessness of the social consequences back then. A single mistake. And your family, your life, just gone. How does she even cope with that? Does she just accept it? This is where you see her strength. It's actually remarkable. She refuses to name the father, refuses to be forced into marriage. She thinks even her father didn't scare her.
Wow.
And then she makes a really bold move for that time. She leaves the convent, just walks out.
What does she do?
She has to survive, right? So she ends up in Omaha, then Grinnell, a college town. And she invents a whole new identity.
Really? Who does she become?
She tells people she's a widow. Her husband died in the Korean War. It's the only way she can get a waitressing job at this place, Jimmy D's, without facing judgment.
She had to literally erase herself to get by.
Exactly. That invention, needing that backstory, it really highlights how few options women like her had. To get basic independence, basic respect, she had to hide her reality because it was so stigmatized. It's more than just resilience. It's a stark commentary on the price of just trying to survive outside the approved lines.
So what was it about her? Where did that strength, that defiance come from?
I think it was her intelligence, her ambition, the very things her father tried to squash, they become her guide. She's absolutely determined this pregnancy won't ruin her life.
So she focuses on the future.
Yes. Her solution is knowledge. She starts going to the library, studying on her own. She actually feels excitement about the future despite everything. It's that adventuresome thinking, as Tommy later calls it.
Wow.
It's a powerful statement, isn't it? Even when society boxes you in, tries to define you by one mistake, seeking knowledge, aiming for self-determination, that can be your way out. She refused to be just a victim of her circumstances. She chose her path.
And that determination, that path, leads her right back to the other story, to Tommy Whittaker.
The connection.
He's a regular at Jimmy D's where she works, described as a serious young man with the saddest eyes. And there's this instant spark between them.
Something clicks.
Yeah, the book says he came alive talking to her. He felt enormously loved and extremely important around her. It's like this pure connection born out of their shared, unspoken pain. What makes it work so well between them?
I think it's that shared experience of being isolated by grief and, well, societal judgment. Tommy's lost in his grief over Annie. His parents are distant. Maribeth's carrying this huge secret, banished from her family.
So they find refuge in each other.
Exactly. Their intimacy, which isn't sexual at first, it's this safe space where they can finally start to talk about the things they can't talk about with anyone else. Tommy helps her keep studying, brings her books, copies his notes, gives her a lifeline to those dreams.
And her? What does she do for him?
She helps him actually talk about Annie, process the grief. She tells him something like, "You've taught me a lot about Annie, about letting go, loving her wherever she is now, taking her with me."
Wow, that's profound.
It really is. It's this mutual healing and emotional support system they aren't getting anywhere else. And it builds this deep bond, leading Tommy to say, "I'm going to marry you one day, Maribeth Robertson. Get used to it."
It's an intense connection built on such difficult foundations.
Yeah.
And then Liz Whittaker steps back into the picture in a big way. Tommy tells his parents about Maribeth being pregnant. How does Liz react?
Well, John, the father, is mostly relieved when he finds out Tommy isn't the father. Typical dad reaction, maybe.
Right, but Liz...
Liz is initially horrified, shocked. But then something shifts. Her empathy kicks in. She even goes secretly to visit Maribeth's parents.
Why does she do that?
To see the situation for herself, I think. And she sees how rigid, how unsupportive they are. It confirms Maribeth's story. And seeing Maribeth's situation combined with her own loss, it triggers something powerful in her.
Her maternal instinct.
Definitely. But also perhaps a recognition of shared pain, shared female experience in a way. Having lost Annie, she understood Maribeth's predicament only too well. It wasn't just charity. It felt like a reawakening for Liz.
How so?
She offers Maribeth a place to stay. But more than that, she becomes determined to help Maribeth get to college. She tells her, "With a mind like yours, you really owe it to yourself to get an education."
So Liz, the teacher, comes back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She starts evaluating Maribeth's schoolwork, arranging for equivalency exams. She sees Maribeth as a first-rate student. Helping Maribeth gives Liz back her passion, her purpose. It starts to fill that void Annie left, connects Liz back to who she was before the grief took over.
That's incredible. One person's crisis helps another find their way back. Which brings us to the core of the title, right? The gift.
Yeah.
Maribeth's decision.
Yes, the ultimate gift. She decides firmly to give the baby up for adoption.
Which must have been agonizing.
Immensely. But the book makes it clear it's not indifference. It's presented as her greatest act of love for that baby. She genuinely believes this offers the child a better life than she, at 16 alone, could possibly provide.
How does she handle the pregnancy itself, knowing this?
She doesn't buy baby clothes. She tells Tommy flat out, "I can't hold on to it." When her colleagues at the restaurant throw her a surprise baby shower, she hides the gifts. It shows this painful, unwavering resolve, a really profound selflessness. How do Liz and the Whittackers react when Maribeth offers them the baby?
Well, for Liz, it's a complex emotional journey, but that deep longing for another child after Annie is undeniable. It's not about replacing Annie, you can't do that, but maybe about reclaiming hope, finding a way forward.
And John?
He's initially shocked again, but then he sees it. He realizes this is a gift, something that can, as he puts it, give us back our dreams. He comes to understand that giving up a child can be an act of love. He acknowledges some can do that.
And Tommy, given his feelings for Maribeth, Tommy understands. He supports it. He sees it as the ideal solution, not just for the baby, but for his parents, too, for their healing. It really shows how love and, well, generosity can reshape futures, mend those deep wounds.
It creates this intricate web. Loss leading to connection, connection leading to this new possibility. The birth scene must be intense.
Extremely. Liz is right there with Maribeth in the delivery room. Maribeth is scared Liz might back out, pleading, "Promise you won't change your mind. You'll take it, won't you, Liz?"
Oh, heartbreak.
Liz promises, completely overcome, and she names the baby Kate. Later in the nursery, there's this moment where baby Kate seems to just stare at Liz as though she'd been waiting for her for a long time, like she was meant to be theirs.
Wow. And Maribeth's goodbye.
Gut-wrenching, but resolute. She whispers to Kate, "I won't be your mommy anymore. Be a good girl. Take care of Tommy for me." She knows deep down, in her gut, in her heart, this would always be her baby and she would always love her. But she lets go.
And the Whittackers don't just take the baby.
No, they give back. They set up a college fund for Maribeth, ensuring she gets that education she fought so hard for.
So Maribeth gets her future, too.
Yes. She goes home, achieves some reconciliation with her parents, but she's changed. She has a new sense of self, plans for college, Chicago, Grinnell. She found her ticket to freedom, like you said, a future she built through impossible choices and the kindness of others, a future on her own terms.
So bringing this all together as we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
that initial idea, America in the 50s, a simpler time, it just doesn't hold up under this kind of scrutiny, does it?
Not at all.
This deep dive into the gift showed us first the stark reality of childhood illness before vaccines, how quickly it could shatter that perfect family image.
Absolutely devastating. And no safety net, really.
Then the immense, almost suffocating pressure on young women. Reputation, unplanned pregnancy. The choices were often impossible, the consequences brutal.
Social exile was a real threat.
But then there's the flip side, the incredible power of empathy, of support coming from unexpected places, how unconventional kindness could heal, could literally create a new kind of family.
That connection between Tommy, Maribeth, and eventually Liz, it's transformative.
And Maribeth's relentless drive for education, for self-determination as a path forward against huge odds.
A testament to resilience.
And finally, this core idea of gifts. Not just babies, but the gift of a second chance, the gift of support, the gift of these deep, life-changing connections.
They appear in the most surprising ways, often born from sorrow itself.
Yeah. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe.
Well, it makes you think, doesn't it, about how we navigate our own life. How do we find the strength to face life's own bitter verities, the hard things we can't avoid, and still stay open to the new gifts that might emerge, even from pain, even from loss? How do we find that courage, like Maribeth did, to define our own future, our own purpose, when things seem impossible, or when society tries to limit us? And maybe, how do we learn to recognize those unexpected gifts, those moments of grace or selfless acts when they appear? The gift, I think, pushes us to look beyond the simple surfaces in our own lives, too, to find that deeper human story.